everyone, it's Melissa. Happy New Year, and I am so excited to be here today. I am part of a collab that was started by Elle. Elle is for living. I'll put her channel below and anybody else that I mentioned. And she challenged a whole lot of us to basically, for 2016, use up the products that we already have. And you know, that was just a wonderful challenge to me because it gave me a chance to look over some things that I had used to love that had gotten pushed to the back as I had bought new things. And I will list everybody below that is doing the collab. There's a whole list of everyone as well as their links. So be sure that you check everyone out. When I first started YouTube, I had a lot less products than I do now, and I used stuff that I had been using for a really long time, and I would use it up and then buy more, and occasionally I would splurge and buy some new things. But pretty much basically, I used pretty much the same cosmetics. So then when I started doing YouTube, I started watching other people do YouTube, doing their videos, and so I got influenced and I started really studying things, and I started thinking about these products that might work for me or might look good on me because they did on the other people. And so I started buying them. And I'm ashamed to say that there have been products that I have bought before just so I would have something to talk about on a video. And it's so silly. You know, YouTube is a hobby of mine, and what has happened with this hobby is that I'm losing money. I'm spending more money than I'm making. So I probably really need to cut back on what my spending is. Especially at my age, I want to really think about my future and not spend so much money. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and tell you about the things that I've decided to use up this year. My categories might be a little bit different from others because some things I don't use and some things I spend a lot on. So my first one that I'm going to talk about are hair care products. I have really spent a lot on hair care products. I'm going to insert a picture of a shelf that I had. When I started YouTube, that shelf was empty. And I had thought about either getting rid of it or hanging it up someplace. And now, as you can see, it is overflowing. I'm very embarrassed about that, but it just goes to show you what I have spent on my hair care products. And in my search for bigger and beautiful and stronger and more gorgeous full mane of hair that I will never achieve because it's not the type of hair that I have irritated my scalp to the point where sometimes it keeps me up at night. So my goal for this year is to empty that shelf, to go through. I'm kind of getting some ideas of the brands. There's certain brands that are really irritating me, and I need to just get rid of those. I need to look at labels and make sure I'm not using something with gluten in it. And so that is going to be my goal for hair care. The next category that I considered was skincare, and I really just buy things and use them up and buy things and use them up. So I don't think it's one that I'm going to have to do. For the past month, I contacted my dermatologist and started back in on my full Abaja New-Derm like I always used to use. And I remembered how much I really loved it. So from now on, I'm just going to stick with that. I use it with my Retin A and my Vitamin C serum, and I'm very pleased with that. So I don't feel like that's a category that I need to examine for the coming year. The next one is going to be cosmetics then. Okay, so the first thing is actually, well, it's a sunscreen. I purchased this, it's the Brush On sunscreen, the mineral sunscreen, and I really liked it, and I don't know why I got away from using it. I liked it because it didn't interfere with my skincare, it didn't make my skin oily. I could just brush it on, and the thing that I don't like about it is it's a 30, but I think in the wintertime it's going to be an okay protection as well as putting my makeup on top of it, but I really like this, so I want to use that up. It's called the Brush On Block. Okay, and then the next one are concealers. So I'm going to make an effort to use up 1, 2, 3, use up 4 concealers. The first one is one that I used to use when I started doing YouTube, and I really liked it. In fact, I went back to some of my old videos to see what I was using when I first started out, to see if they, still had the products and if they'd gotten pushed to the back. And this was one of them. I still had this in the package because it was a backup, and it's the CoverGirl Invisible Concealer. And I always really liked this because it gave really good coverage, but it was almost like you weren't wearing concealer. It covered everything without getting into my lines and wrinkles and the crepiness and dryness or anything under your eyes. So I'm very excited to rediscover this. And I have 2 MAC Pro Longwears. I have one that's too light, and I have one that's too dark because I don't have access easily to a MAC store. I ordered them online and I missed both times. So I'm going to mix them together and use that as a concealer. And I'm going to use up my Age Rewind by Maybelline. It's a great concealer that I used a bunch of it and then went on to something else. So I'm going to go back and use this. And then to set my concealers, I'm going to use the e.l.f. Tone Correcting Powder. And this was a new thing of it. I had used up another one and I bought this and then got away from it. But it's the 4 squares, and I would just take a brush and just squish it all together and then put it on underneath over my concealer, and it's invisible, but it really sets things because I have trouble with things smearing underneath there. Okay, the next one is concealers. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them that I'm going to use up. Now, this is going to be a hard one for me because I really love Laura Mercier Silk Cream Foundation. It is my holy grail, but these are some that I had bought in the past and thought I would use to see if it was better than the Laura Mercier, so I don't want it to go to waste. And the first one is the Lock It Tattoo Foundation, which is nice and thick the way I like it. The next one is the Double Wear, Estee Lauder Double Wear, another nice thick one that I like. This one is the It Cosmetics CC Cream. It's a fairly new purchase, and so far I just haven't learned how to wear it, but I'm going to really make an effort. I've been watching 2 people's videos that wear it, and it always looks beautiful on them. One of them is Miss Crystal, and of course I'll put her channel, and then my very wonderful sweet friend Mary Ellen over 60, and I'll put her channel below. So they both have used this and do a really good job with it, so I'm going to go watch their videos. I think I might be using too much, is what's happened. And then the last one is a foundation that I discovered from watching Zoe, Little Miss 40. I think it's Zoe LMF is her channel now. Of course, I'll link her below. But it's Jouer or Jouer. I've heard it pronounced both ways. But it's a gorgeous cream foundation. And what I do is I just take one of these little disposable puffs and I'll use it on one side till it gets dirty, another side gets dirty, throw it away. But it's really, really a pretty, it makes your skin look very flawless. I like it a lot. So I'm anxious to rediscover that. And as you can see, I have hit pan on it, so it shouldn't be too hard to use that up. Okay, for eye primer, I'm going to go back. I had gotten off using it, but I'm going to return to using it. It's Painterly by MAC. And I've got this one, which is, I've made a really good dent. Over half of it is gone, and I have one as a backup. So I want to use this one up. My goal is to use this one up and then to make a good dent in the next one. My next one is a bronzer. I'm going to do my best with the bronzer. I tend not to wear bronzer, and I used to. In fact, sometimes I would use this bronzer as a blush, and especially in the summertime, I felt like it gave me a healthy glow. I really liked it. It's from Lancome, and it's the 01 Luminaire. It's just a kind of a warm color, but I remember really liking the way it would look on my skin and being really pleased with it. So I'm going to make, I've used quite a bit of it, but I'm really going to make an effort to really make a big dent in it this year. Okay, my next one is, I'm really bad about not using any setting powders or anything. So I'm going to make an effort to use my dim light, the ambient dim light, to kind of just, you know, give it that soft focus at the end. So very excited to use that. Okay, next I'm going to go to eyes. As well as, there's 3 categories, I guess, that I have a weakness for. Probably number 1 is clothes. I have a real weakness for clothes. I really do like clothes. The next one is hair care products that I've mentioned, and my third one is eyeshadow palettes. So I'm not going to kid myself into saying that I'm not going to buy eyeshadow palettes, because I'm just setting myself up for failure. So I'll try not to buy so many, but I will continue to buy eyeshadow palettes. In fact, probably my next video is going to be a haul of several eyeshadow palettes that I purchased around Christmas time on sales, from gift cards, things like that, and things I got for Christmas, as well as some clothes. I'll do my best, but I am going to work this year a lot on my the Kat Von D Shade and Light. I'm extremely fond of it. I've done a video or 2 on it. It's been in my favorites. I really like it a lot, and I want to make sure that I consistently use it a lot, because it's very gorgeous and it's just so easy to make different looks. So that's my palette I'm going to work on. I'm going to work on some eyeshadow sticks. Back when Kat Von D went out of business, I bought these, I think the color is Ava, these eyeshadow sticks. Not Kat Von D, Sue Devitt, sorry, Sue Devitt. And I bought a lot more than this. I guess I bought at least 10 of them that I've got in there. And gosh, these may, you know, even though she's going out of business, these may last me the rest of my life. But they're so easy to do, because for one thing, you don't get fallout. And you can just take them and put them in your crease, and then take a brush or the stick and just blend it around on the outer corner, and then put it underneath. And you can even tight line with it, and they're so easy to work with. So I'm going to really try to make a dent in my collection of that. Now, as far as mascara goes, I'm very good about using up a mascara before I buy a new one. Using up throwing it away and buying a new one. But for a while there, I was using the Sumptuous Extreme Waterproof by Estee Lauder, and so I had a backup of it. So I want to make sure that I don't let this go to waste, and I want to use my backup of that. I have one highlighter I'm going to work on using up, and it would take me forever because I do use it all the time. But I think, with the highlighter, you just use such a small amount, and I use an angled brush. I brush it on the top of my cheeks. But I got this as a gift from Nisha Sugar Puff and Fluff, and it's by Autograph. It came from England. It's by Autograph. It's the Pure Luxe Powder Highlighter, and the color is Golden Rose. And like I said, I've used it and used it and used it, but you can still see the texture of it. But it's just a gorgeous, really, really, really pretty. But I love this. It's just gorgeous, and so I'm very, very excited to use it. Just a little bit on my cheeks. Okay. Going back to eyes, I'm usually am pretty good with eyeliner too. I usually use the NARS eyeliners or the Lancome eyeliners, and I go back and forth, and when one of them wears, when I use one of them up, then I buy another one. But I noticed that I have these 2 MAC eyeliners that I want to use up because they're really pretty and I like them a lot. One of them is, they're real easy to use too. One of them is Ebony, and the other one is Teddy, so a nice brown and a nice black. So I want to make an effort to use those up. They've got a lot to go. Lipsticks. I'm going to work on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lipsticks. And I do have to say they're pretty much all in the same color family because that's what I tend to wear. I tend to wear nudes or light pinks or a light peach. But, I'm going to work on these. One of them is the first one is from Milani. It's 26 Nude Cream. Beautiful. The next one, my friend Kristen sent to me. I love it. It's Anita, and I've used the heck out of it. It's just gorgeous. The next one is from CoverGirl, and it's 235 Champagne, another nude. I have a ton of nudes, so I need to use them up. I need to work on them. I might branch out into a new color after I do. The next one, I used to use this all the time, and I had bought several, and this was one of the backups. It's from Lancome, and it's Rouge in Love. Just a pretty peachy pink. I just really like it, and I miss wearing it, so gonna do that one. And this is another one I used to use all the time. I saw in some of my early videos. It's from Maybelline 14 Hour, the 14 Hour lipstick, and it's Pout on Pink. Beautiful. Kind of a little more pink than coral, but it's pretty. It has a little bit of peach in it too. And then my last one is one I'm really gonna hate to see go, but I need to use it up and move on. And it is the Tom Ford Nude Vanille. It was a big splurge for me, but do you get your money's worth from lipsticks? They're expensive, I don't know, but I certainly use the heck out of it, and I'm using it up. So, yeah, I will be sad to see that go, because that was a splurge. But there comes a time when you use up your splurges and move on. And my last one is not something I'm going to particularly use up, but it's something I want to use. And it's a little brush. It's a little eyeshadow brush. And I've had this brush, gosh, I got it before we moved into this house. We moved here in 2000, so it's about 20 years old. It's from Lancome, and I cannot find it anymore. They don't make it anymore. I've asked everywhere. It doesn't even have a number. It has no markings on it. In fact, it's broken up here because I've had it so long. And I've had it laying down, stored away to keep it safe, because I always said I wanted to be buried with this brush. That's how much I love it. So they've gotten misshapen and, tilted over. So I'm going to wet it and reshape it. But it is the perfect brush. The bristles are cut just so nicely to get underneath here, to stipple on some eyeshadow underneath here. And it's like it blends it into my skin, and so it isn't too dark, but it's just the right amount of coverage, and you get just sort of a natural progression from your concealer up to your eyeshadow underneath here, up to your eyes. And I always liked the way it did that. It did that better than any other brush I'd ever had. So I'm going to use it this year. Not use it up, but cherish it and use it. And I know it's just a brush and I'm being silly, but I really did like the way it always did underneath my eyes. So anyway, those are the things I'm going to work with this year. I forgot to say the name of it. It's the 2016 Makeup Use Up Challenge, or Collab. And I appreciate Elle getting this organized so much. It's such an important thing to think about here, especially at the end of the year, to think about what, take stock of what you've done over the year, what I've spent my money on, and try to make some changes, especially with that hair care stuff. I need to find just a few products or a line. Like I said, I have a pretty good idea of some lines that don't irritate me. I know Kenra is one of them, but really stick with the hair stuff, and quit switching around and just buying so much, because it's actually starting to irritate me. But I wanted to take this opportunity to thank everyone for just being so wonderful and such good friends to me this past year. I've enjoyed talking to all of you so much. I've become really good friends with a bunch of you, and you've enriched my life so much. You've enriched Doug's life. He's always asking about if any of the ladies are asking about him or anything like that. So, y'all have become very important to both of us. So I just wanted to thank everyone for all their support, all their kindness. Everybody has just been really, really, really very sweet and kind to me. And it means more to me than you will ever know, because I am rather a sensitive person. So when I get the mean remarks, it does kind of hurt my feelings. So it's so wonderful to hear the real positive remarks. So I wanted to thank you so much for doing that. And I hope everyone has a very prosperous, a very blessed, and a very, very joyous new year full of much love and happiness. Thank you so much, and I will see you next year. Bye-bye.